It is Friday, July 8th. I'm Michael Schur here on the Young Turks. Cenk is away on vacation. I've been here all week. I've enjoyed every single second of it. Today, however, brings bad news both politically and, more importantly, realistically for the jobs market in America. The jobs numbers came in. Only 18,000 jobs were created in the month of June, which is a dismal number when you're trying to grow the economy. And what this says about the political situation right now is that the Republicans can start jumping all over the White House, as they have done in droves today. Economists can start jumping all over the White House. And the White House needs to respond. It sets the table for this kind of a response. It sets the table for the president to be forceful in asking what he wants in order to create jobs. He can take the blame, or he can say, yes, we haven't done the job that we wanted to do. He has reiterated that we have a long way to go. He said it from the outset that it was going to be a long process. What the president needs to do now, it's his only choice really, is to respond vocally, vociferously, and with great energy that he never shows, and say, listen, had we been able to do the things we wanted to do, we would grow jobs. We need stimulus. We need spending. We need job creation. And this is the way we want to do it. Of course, the Republicans are not going to listen. The president is never forceful. So I'm talking about fantasy land right here. Let's listen to the president today talking about, again, to be specific about what came in today. The job market. The economy gained just 18,000 jobs in the month of June. The government reported those numbers today, and it missed all the expectations that were expected because they only added 25,000 in the month of May. Those numbers were revised down. And of course, numbers get revised all the time. But that was considered terrible. Of course, it is progress. Jobs are being created as opposed, and we should point this out, to the 8 years of cumulative job losses that happened before this president took office. And what this showed is this is our weakest month, which means that there is not a contagion of progress when it comes to the jobs market. The economy was still losing jobs in September, and this is the worst number until September. Of course, the stock market went down, and the economists and the government were expecting job losses here, and government job losses, but they hadn't predicted that the hiring in the private sector would be as weak as it was. The private businesses added only 57,000 jobs in June, and that's the weakest growth since May of last year. And prior to that, this year, the private sector was adding 200,000 jobs per month. Let's listen to the president. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit after that about what can be done, what economists are saying, and what the sort of political reality of all of this is. It's not good for the president. Here's President Obama. This is clip one.
Today's job report confirms what most Americans already know. We still have a long way to go and a lot of work to do to give people the security and opportunity that they deserve. The economic challenges that we face weren't created overnight, and they're not going to be solved overnight. But the American people expect us to act on every single good idea that's out there. Right now, there are over 1 million construction workers out of work after the housing boom went bust, just as a lot of America needs rebuilding. We connect the two by investing in rebuilding our roads and our bridges and our railways and our infrastructure. Right now, we can give our entrepreneurs the chance to let their job-creating ideas move to market faster by streamlining our patent process. That's pending before Congress right now. Today, Congress can advance trade agreements that will help businesses sell more American-made goods and services to Asia and South America, supporting thousands of jobs here at home. That could be done right now. Right now, there are a lot of middle-class families who sure could use the security of knowing that the tax cut that I signed in December to help boost the economy and put $1,000 in the pockets of American families, that's still going to be around next year. That's a change that we could make right now. There are bills and trade agreements before Congress right now that could get all these ideas moving.
Okay, well, you hear the president there. This is not a time to blame Congress, Mr. President. You can do all you want in terms of pointing the finger at who's to blame, the disaster you inherited, the people who aren't making the changes you want. You had a Democratic House and you had a Democratic Senate. You had a stimulus bill that was, I think, not strong enough, even though you point to stimulus. I think that was a great idea. It did stimulate the economy despite what the Republicans are saying. It did create some jobs despite what the Republicans are saying. It did not reverse the economy, and nobody said it was going to reverse the economy. It's supposed to kickstart the economy. But again, when you had the chance, I was talking with Lucas here at the Young Turks before the show, he had a chance to be more forceful, to say exactly what he needed and exactly how much more stimulus was necessary, and he didn't do that. The president didn't do that, and the president had a chance to go to Congress when he had a Congress in his back pocket and demand more and not back down from Republicans who had him on his heels when they were in the minority, and he didn't do it. It's too late to start blaming Congress for this. The president has to come up with ideas, and if he wants to blame Congress, he has to show Congress that he means it when he says we need more stimulus. He means it when we need those middle-class tax cuts. He means it when we have these job and manufacturing job increases that we want. It's interesting, when you're looking at the numbers that came through today, the exception to all of the gloom in the economy was that the manufacturing sector added 6,000 workers after cutting payrolls in May. So the manufacturing sector, and again, we're talking about tiny, tiny numbers here when you think of 6,000 people all over the country. But it's got to start tiny, I guess, and that's encouraging. But there's nothing else encouraging in these numbers. And I point to what Gary Burtless of the Brookings Institution, a nonprofit watchdog group it's not even a watchdog group, it's a nonprofit sort of think tank in Washington. He's talking about the unemployment rate and the job numbers. He's saying neither indicator shows a pace of job creation that is fast enough to reduce the unemployment rate very quickly. To bring the adult employment rate back to its pre-recession level, we would need to add about 11 million new jobs. At the pace of job growth we have seen in the start of the year, that task may take decades. So I think what the president needs to do as he runs for president is set realistic goals and meet those realistic goals. I don't think that there's any sense in the president going to Congress and saying that we're going to totally reverse the job situation in this country. However, if he's able to forcefully push through his stimulus ideas, if he's able to get this debt ceiling up, and he's able to show that he really cares about it. You look at this president, and I'm not one who likes to read into whether, how a way a person looks is the way that person is thinking. So you look at the president, he looks tired, he's speaking slowly, he's unenthused about what he's talking about. Of course he would be, because he got terrible, terrible news today. And the stock market is showing the same thing, down close to 100 points when we started the show. I do think, though, that the president can be forceful when he goes to Congress. He's going to have to be forceful on the campaign trail. He might as well do it in his daily job, not only in a way of keeping that daily job. And I think that the president is not doing that enough, hasn't done it enough. And when you see what these numbers represent, and you see the White House not changing their posture at all, I think it has to give you pause.
Well, that's the thing, Michael. So what does that look like in a picture? So, I mean, he had as you said, he had his chances in the past when he had a Democratic Congress completely. He had everybody, and he didn't do it then. So now, forceful, is that in speech? Is that in private meetings?
Well,
I mean, is it doing something differently? Because it sounds like with what he's faced with now, which I think is a problem that he and the rest of the Democratic Party created by allowing them to have the control they had in the minority. What does it look like now to be forceful to people who are just not even listening?
Well, that's a pertinent question, and I think that you can look back at all the mistakes this administration made in terms of how forceful they were with Congress when they were actually dealing with their own Congress. I think Rahm Emanuel, in retrospect, was not a successful chief of staff for this White House. I think he was a divisive guy, and I think that he wanted to kowtow to too many people on the Hill. The president, and again, this is not the time to be doing this in terms of the legislative season. Right now, he's got to deal with the tax problem. He's got to deal with the debt ceiling. But he has to be able to frame it in a way of really showing America that he believes that what his ideas for why he wants to raise this debt ceiling, what his ideas for job creation and stimulus are in terms of increasing spending are the right ideas. It doesn't seem that there is any passion whatsoever in the way he's dealing with Congress right now, especially the leadership. First of all, he's inviting these leaders up to the White House. When that happens, there has to be news that comes out of those meetings. There has to be that the leadership walks out of the White House, walks out of the cabinet room, wherever they were sitting down and meeting, probably the Oval Office, walks out of that meeting and says, my God, we saw a president there who is intent on doing this. There is no intent that we see on a daily basis from this president. There's no pending legislation right now. I mean, he talks about a lot of legislation before Congress, but there's no pending legislation that we identify with the president right now that is forceful enough or says, okay, let's give this president a chance, as we did with stimulus, as we did with the bailout, as we did with the auto industry bailout. Whatever your opinions are about that, you identified with that was part of President Obama's plan. Right now, it's all nebulous. Right now, it's all raise the debt ceiling, which is something that is not in the daily parlance of Americans. Right now, it is about making sure that we protect entitlements until we decide that we're not going to protect entitlements. What does this president stand for? What does he stand for philosophically and legislatively? And that is where there's gray area there's not a successful president who has ever presented himself with gray area. And when I say a willingness to compromise, that does not define gray area, but you have to know where he's coming from, where he first starts the compromise. You know where the Republicans are coming for. Every single day they say, we will not raise taxes if we close loopholes. We will not close loopholes unless we have a promise that we're not going to raise taxes. We know where they stand. We disagree with it. We think it's foolish. We think it's steadfast and irresponsible. We think it's political grandstanding and chest beating, but we know where they are. Do you know where this president is? I don't know where he is. I know that he's wishy-washy. I know that, yes, one day we're not going to touch entitlements. The next day, he's talking about Social Security. He's talking about going to Medicare and Medicaid. He hasn't said Medicaid, but you know it's there. And I think that is the biggest problem with this White House. Now, as far as job creation, he has to do that with whatever legislation is there. He has to say, we have to really believe that the president believes that by doing this with the Congress right now, it is going to stimulate the creation of jobs. We also have to set the bar a little lower than what we, and that's our fault, say the bar should be for job creation. One of the president's top economic advisors, Austin Goolsbee, was on, I think it was on CNBC this morning. Let's listen to what Austin Goolsbee said. He was talking about the economy. He was talking about the reality of what kind of a rate we can expect in terms of the unemployment rate. This is clip number 4, Lucas.
Do you take any responsibility for the fact that the economy is not actually adding jobs properly from the administration?
The president has taken responsibility that we have to do everything we can. It is his #1 priority.
Forgive me, why would you extend the payroll tax cut when it clearly isn't working now?
Well, I don't know why you would say that when we get hit by a terrible oil price shock.
With all due respect, I don't think you answered my colleague's question. That is there any sort of culpability here?
Okay, first, I did answer the question. I said yes, we take responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a White House that's back on its heels. There's not a unified message. Seeing Austin Goolsbee right there, sort of just blowing in the wind about what his answer is. Yes, he did say the president takes responsibility. He said he takes the responsibility for the job ahead, not the job behind. And it doesn't matter why more jobs weren't lost and whose fault it was, unless it comes to the legislation, unless it comes to a pure failure of the legislation. I don't think that cutting the payroll tax is the reason why there weren't jobs. I mean, I'm not an economist, but nobody has convinced me that doing that and middle-class tax cuts are not creating jobs. What needs to create jobs is the fact that there is not enough spending in this economy to create the jobs, the infrastructure jobs in America that the president has talked about. But again, where is it? Where is that? Where is the passion? Where is the congressional where is the congressional action from this White House? Where is his chief of staff? Why is he not on the Hill talking about these things? And I think these are important questions to be asked. And if you're talking about the economy, you're talking about stimulating the economy, do that. Talk about the infrastructure. Talk in ways that America can understand. Oh yeah, if we have infrastructure spending, if we need trillions of dollars of road work and bridge work and building construction, both for government and non-governmental projects on a state-by-state basis, on the federal highway system, talk about it. That makes sense. That puts people to work. They're talking in big numbers, they're talking in big plans and schemes, they're talking about tax cuts and sort of economic high talk. Of course, he's on with CNBC, it's a business channel. They're going to ask him about the economy. But he has to talk to the people, and in so doing, he has to talk to the Congress. There's more on the economy when we get back. We can't get off of this subject, but we have a lot of Michelle Bachmann ahead. I put out a tweet today to see if anybody else wanted to hear about anything on the show today. We got a few, responses to that, so we're going to be talking about some of the stories that were sent in to us then. I'm Michael Shore. These are the Young Turks.
And we're back.
Hello again.
Hello again. We're still here.
Now, okay, do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Never seen it. Don't hate me again.
Oh, okay. It's probably one of the funniest shows that's on TV. I love this show.
Okay, so something Jackie actually watches.
Yeah,
okay,
something I actually like. Yeah, It's Always Sunny. Now there's Rob McElhenney, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. He plays Mac on It's Always Sunny, and he's the stereotypical meathead, kind of a douche, not that smart, but he's hilarious, and his main obsession is his body. And so now we find out that Rob put on 50 pounds for his character.
For the upcoming season.
Right, and I guess it's to be funnier.
Yeah, so they made a whole article about how this guy gained 50 pounds for a show.
Right.
Because fat equals funny?
I think so. I think fat equals funny.
Only because he's a meathead and he's obsessed with working out.
Yeah, I think it's just because they're going to show his decline on the show. But, I mean, what do we think about actors gaining? I mean, you see a lot of actors like losing weight to play like sickly
Oh, it's like an
characters.
actor's dream come true. If someone asked me, will you gain 25 pounds, we'll give you this role in this film, of course I would do it.
Really?
That's a dream come true.
I just keep thinking about, unless you're totally fine being 50 pounds heavier, and when you go to lose this weight, it's going to be terrible.
Okay, 50 pounds is a lot. I guess it depends on how much they they want you to gain.
That's going to put your body through like a roller coaster. That is not healthy.
Think of it this way. It's
gain
just like
and
having
lose.
a baby. Now he knows what it's like to put on baby weight. He'll be able to lose it.
But he's not going to have that. He's not going to have to go into labor. So
yeah, and he's not going to have like breast milk and stuff that
depends
helps
on
you
what
lose
he's
weight.
eating.
I heard breastfeeding helps you lose weight.
Right. I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either.
Okay,
I
yeah.
learned that from Kourtney Kardashian.
Oh, well, everything you need to know you can learn on E.
Yeah.
Yeah, and TYT.
Did you see it says how they were asking him, how did you gain the weight? And he said, a lot of protein shakes filled with ice cream and donuts.
Yeah.
What would you eat?
What would I eat? I would only eat chili cheese fries. I would just, if I was just going to get just fat, 50 pounds fatter, it would be like chili cheese fries and like everything from
I love dessert.
McDonald's.
I would be eating cookies and cake and
that would be
cupcakes.
nice.
That's what I would do. I'm a big sweet tooth.
I would go with the grease factor.
Grilled cheese.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fried
Ugh.
chicken.
I hate pasta.
And it's anything with butter. Really is what I would be eating.
Jackie loves butter. Okay, yeah, what a fascinating story.
Okay, I'm not a fan of golf, but I would be a fan of golf if this happened more often.
Yes. Oh, we have an awesome picture, you guys.
Yes. Now, super fan Jason Goodwin went to the TPC Boston tournament in 2010, and he wore a tiger suit.
A bright orange tiger suit, like Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes.
Yes, and I also think that it is great.
Great. That's what it made me think of when I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh, Frosted Flakes is a great advertisement at the tournament, but that's actually not what it was.
No, but the thing is, he got permission to wear the suit, and then one of the golfers, Angel Cabrera,
Tiger's partner.
Right.
Tiger.
Come on. He flips out and was like, gotta get this guy out of here, gotta get this guy out of here. And so he got ejected, and now he's suing the PGA Tour. And he's taken him to small claims court.
So this guy wearing a suit is making
so
a
cute.
big fuss.
I kind of love it.
He wants $7,000 because that's the most you can claim in small claims court, he says, for being ejected.
Right, and he's saying, I want to make the point that you can't tell people what to wear.
I think he just wants the money back because that suit probably cost him a lot. I think he just wants to be reimbursed.
You know, I wouldn't blame him if I spent that much money on a sweet tiger suit. I would want to be reimbursed as well. I mean, that's kind of crap, though. If some some golfer came up to me and I was wearing a sweet costume and he was like, get out of here. I'd be like, screw you.
Yeah.
I got this.
Because he had the balls to do it. And he
Like-
said he asked permission. That's why he's
Yeah,
so
I got
mad.
permission. Get the hell over it, Angel Cabrera.
I'm sick of certain sports. Tennis and golf are the first two that come to mind.
Me too.
Where you're an athlete. Baseball players deal with heckling. Football players deal with people, and basketball players shooting free throws, someone waving thunder sticks and
Yes.
shit. Every
Yes.
sport has to deal with some kind of distraction, and this isn't even a distraction, but everybody has to be fucking quiet. Shut up, this guy's trying to.
You can only clap like,
Yeah, if something happens in a tennis match when someone in the middle of they're about to serve, I can kind of understand it because it's such a precision game. But damn, there's precision factors in other sports, and then people purposely they say, "Oh, the 12th man,"
Yeah.
you know, in football, and then the crowd is a factor. You're not a professional. Handle
Yeah,
it. It's an orange suit.
I completely agree
I
with
completely
you.
agree too. If he was standing there, you know, roaring or being like, "Yeah, Tiger, put it in the hole," you know, then I would be, you know, all right, let's let this guy go. He was just standing there. He's a golf super fan.
I know. I mean, why couldn't they? I mean, he was probably standing in the front, but why couldn't they just be like, can you just move back a little bit so he
Yeah,
can't see
or
you?
maybe
well?
like
Because
stand behind the golfer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, don't be in his eye line or something. This is just a little ridiculous. He didn't have to kick him. They didn't have to kick him out.
you know what though? If he's in that suit, could he even really see that well of what was even going on?
Oh, I'm
he just
sure.
wanted to be there. It was just the fact that he got kicked out. He probably couldn't even see what was happening.
I'm sure he was probably seeing through screens.
Yeah,
Like a
And
screen
not that
door type
well,
material.
Not that well. Have you ever
No.
worn a suit like that?
No, but I bet it was. Have I ever
Me
worn a
neither.
suit?
Me neither.
I'm-
Like a big like animal suit.
I would love to, but I never have.
You kind of are in your Twitter picture.
Kind of, and I would like to clear that up. That is a faux fur. It's a spirit hood.
PETA's coming after you,
Yeah,
Jackie.
it is faux fur. Please don't throw red paint on it.
Do you think he's gonna win this case?
I really hope so. He basically went by the book, and he was treated unfairly, I think. I think this Angel guy was probably having he complained it was too bright and bothersome.
Makes Angel look like a dick.
Angel probably is a dick if he's hanging out with Tiger.
First off, his name is Angel. Okay.
Oh, that just makes him
I swear to
20
you.
times douchier.
You're lying.
Angel Cabrera.
Why didn't JR say that?
Because he doesn't know anything about sports.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
You're gonna say JR doesn't know anything about sports?
Yeah. The one thing that I was going to say, though, with distractions in sports, if you ever watched gymnastics at the Olympics,
Oh, right.
people have to do, they'll show the Americans or whoever doing a vault exercise, but meanwhile, you hear crowds roaring on
Yeah,
the other end of the
right, yeah.
gym, and that is a huge concentrating sport. You have to be totally concentrated, and they deal with a ton of distractions.
Yeah, golf.
Every sport does.
You gotta. What is it? Like a club? Yeah, it's a club. And
Oh,
you're sort of-
dear.
this is how much I hate golf. I don't even give a crap.
Jackie
what
from
name
TYT
your
Sports.
stuff. I can't stand it. I can't. Dude, maybe my hate stems because I'm really terrible at mini golf.
You're getting a little worked up.
I am. And hell, God,
Well,
let
yeah.
the Tiger live in peace.
The real reason I didn't correct you is because it really doesn't matter. And because
Is this
Ricky's,
guy any
you.
good?
Ricky's one of those guys who focuses on little things
Okay.
that actually don't make a difference. You know, that was just a little difference. You know, they have 2 thunder sticks. That one guy in the back had 1, so it's totally different. So he's not as distracted. Stuff like that, it doesn't make a difference.
I'm with you, man.
Let's do the wine story.
I'm down
Let's
to
go
do a
out
wine
with some
story.
wine for
I
Vegas Friday.
would love to go out with some wine.
Yeah, a story about wine.
Yeah, all you train fans, get ready because you will be
Hey,
able.
soul sister.
Yeah, you will soon be able to enjoy some drops of Jupiter wine. Now, one of the guys from Train, he owns a vineyard, and he got all the other guys on board, and now they're making a Petite Syrah.
Does he have a vineyard? I thought he just had a wine blog.
Oh, I thought he had a
I
vineyard.
think he just has a wine blog because he really likes wine, but then he got the guys together. He's like, hey guys, let's go to this new venture. Let's create wine.
Oh, you are right. Excuse me. I was giving this guy more credit than he deserved.
Yeah, it's okay. Do you like, I don't know, Petite Syrah?
I'm still very new to wine,
No.
so I'm not a big fan of reds.
I come from a big wine region, in fact.
As
But
do
I should know a lot more about wine than I do. Yeah, you do too.
Yeah. We've gone on quite a few wine tours. But this sounds weird. I'm not gonna. Why would you go to people who are in a band and be like, "Oh, you like wine? Cool. Why don't you make
Well,
some?"
this guy's a wine connoisseur. I mean, it's just like Justin Bieber having a fragrance.
Yeah,
Train's
that's
gonna
stupid
have
too.
a wine, and it's only gonna be $10. It's gonna have a boysenberry fruit flavor that leaps from your glass.
I don't know.
Can't wait to try it.
This just sounds.
Mark's
dumb.
making a really bad face right there.
Yeah, it sounds just as terrible, right?
I'll totally try
With
it.
hints of
Train,
boysenberry
if
is
you
what
want to
gets you?
send us a free bottle, we'll try it on the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would.
It's Vegas Friday. Let's have some wine.
I would love some wine, but not Drops of Jupiter stuff. I don't even like their music. Why
Hey
would I
Soul
want to
Sister.
drink their wine?
I'll admit, I like that one. But other than that, I'm good.
You mean you like that song?
Yeah, that one song.
The Soul Sister song?
Hey, Soul Sister.
What? I've never heard it. Can you please sing it a
You're
little
lying.
more?
You've heard it.
Yeah, I have. I just want you to sing it again.
Everyone go get yourself a glass of wine. You deserve it. It's Friday.
Yeah. And is there... Are we going to say happy birthday to Anna? Her birthday was yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday. Happy birthday, Anna.
Happy birthday, Anna.
We're going to go eat some of your red velvet cake that's in the refrigerator.
Yeah. It sounds delicious.
Sounds great. Thanks for the cake.
Yeah, well, I think this has been a very successful Pop
Culture Hour is over. There you
is
go.
done.
I'll be back on the show on Monday, not with Jackie, though.
No, I will be back on Thursday for Reality Bites Back.
Yeah, we'll both be there. Oh, they're playing our song.
Oh, Soul Sister. Well, thanks for tuning in, TYT Nation.
Bye, TYT Nation.
We'll see you later.